Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a concept that might feel, well, disturbingly close to home for some of you. This idea of the beautiful prison. Imagine a place where you have these grand gestures, these big promises, but they exist right alongside, like silent treatments and punishments.
Yeah.
A relationship that felt like home, really felt like it, but was actually, underneath it all, a kind of carefully constructed trap. Leaves you just gasping for air.
That's it, exactly. In our deep dive today, it's really based squarely on the insights from Beautiful Prison, the hidden hell of loving a narcissist.
Right.
Our mission basically is to pull out the most crucial bits of knowledge, the kind that helps you, our listener, truly understand, maybe navigate, and ultimately heal from these really challenging dynamics.
It's a hidden hell, isn't it?
It really is. And it touches, maybe surprisingly, a huge number of lives.
And when we say huge, we really mean it. I mean, recent research suggests something like, 10% of the population carries enough narcissistic traits to significantly impact their relationship.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Think about that. That's over 60 million people affected. So if you're listening now, and this is resonating, if you feel seen, please hear this clearly. You are not alone.
Absolutely.
You are not crazy, and you are not broken. You were broken open. And that's actually where the healing process, the really profound part, can begin.
So let's start by sort of unmasking what this beautiful prison even looks like. Because narcissists, they don't usually show up with a big warning label, do they?
No, definitely not.
They typically come, wrapped in charisma, confidence, this almost magnetic charm. They're often the life of the party or that super successful professional, maybe even the, devoted parent, at least in public. Or just that charming neighbor everyone loves.
And what's so tricky, so insidious about that initial pull is how those early red flags, they're often disguised, aren't they, as just overwhelming affection.
Totally.
We've all heard of love bombing, right? That intense attention, the over-the-top gifts, the super early I love yous. But how does that connect to what they do next, the stuff that feels so personal?
Well, it's often followed by something called mirroring.
Okay.
They basically reflect your interests, your dreams, your deepest desires right back at you. It makes you feel like, wow, this person gets me. Like nobody else ever has. It's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they paint these elaborate pictures of your future together way before they actually know you deeply.
So that's the future faking part.
Exactly.
And combined with that, they often push for this almost instant intimacy. Sharing really personal stuff fast, wanting you to do the same.
Yeah, it feels intense, like you've known them forever.
And is there also a subtle way they then start to maybe isolate you, often disguised as just wanting to be with you all the time?
Yes, absolutely. It's often framed just like that. Oh, I just want to spend all my time with you. But what it's really doing is subtly cutting you off from your friends, your family, your support system.
Right.
We see this play out like with Mira in the book. Her husband, Arjun, she'd ask a simple question, why were you home late? And he'd flip it instantly into, wow, you're so controlling. Or Sarah, her boyfriend Marcus, one day she's the most special person in the world, the next day, totally invisible. And then he'd gaslight her.
With those classic lines.
Yeah, you're being too sensitive, or I never said that, you're remembering it wrong. It just leaves you constantly doubting yourself, your own reality.
That's such a critical point because it speaks to the intention underneath it all. Dr. Priya Sharma, she puts it so powerfully. She says, the narcissist studies you like a researcher studies a subject. They learn your vulnerabilities, your dreams, your fears, not to cherish them, but to use them. It's not about real connection at all.
It's about ammunition.
Exactly. Take Raj, for example, the software engineer. He remembered every single detail about Kavya's difficult childhood, her abandonment issues. He presented himself as her savior, right? But then later, when she'd get more confident or want to see her friends, he'd subtly bring up those exact vulnerabilities to control her, questioning her loyalty. That's where the trap really starts to close in.
And that leads directly into what's sometimes called the loyalty trap. Because the victims, the people caught in this, are often incredibly loyal, really empathetic, dedicated people.
Right, the good qualities get used against them.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That loyalty becomes the bars of the prison. Like Jennifer, the teacher in the book, constantly trying to be good enough to somehow earn back the good version of her narcissistic mother.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is, because what she and so many others in that spot don't realize at first is that the good version, it was just a performance. It wasn't real.
And maybe the hardest truth, the one that really shifts everything, is this. The narcissist's love isn't actually based on who you are. It's completely transactional. It's about what you do for them, how you make them look good, how well you serve their needs. Real love, healthy love, it doesn't ask you to shrink yourself down to fit inside it.
And this transactional thing, it plays out in all sorts of relationships. First, maybe the most obvious, the romantic partner. Starts with that intense romance we talked about.
Yeah, the love bombing.
But then it quickly shifts to feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells. Like Ravi telling his wife Sunita her friends were just jealous, or minimizing her promotion as a diversity quota.
Ouch.
Tracking her phone, saying it was because he cared, calling her too emotional all the time.
Then you've got the narcissistic parent. Their love often feels incredibly conditional, you know. They see their kids less as individuals and more like extensions of themselves.
Yeah, reflections.
Like Anita's mother. She'd brag about Anita's achievements to other people, but almost never praised Anita directly. And if Anita struggled, it was instantly, what will people think? Or you're embarrassing the family. So love, acceptance, it all hinges on performance.
And we shouldn't forget narcissistic friends, bosses, even siblings. These relationships often fly under the radar, but they can be just as damaging.
That's true.
Think of Lisa, the friend who always has a bigger problem than you do, rarely asks about your life, and then, in an argument, uses your deepest secrets against you. The pattern's the same. Self-absorption, control.
Recognizing these patterns, finally seeing them clearly, gosh, it can bring such relief, can't it? Like, okay, I'm not crazy, there's a name for this.
Huge relief. Validation.
But then, often, right after that relief, comes this really deep grief. You're mourning the person you thought they were, the love you thought you had, that future you were building in your mind. And that grief is completely valid. Because even if their love was an illusion, your feelings, your hopes, your investment, that was all absolutely real.
And to help process that, to start untangling the confusion, a really practical tool is something called the reality check journal.
Okay, how does that work?
It's simple, really. For maybe a week, just jot down interactions that felt confusing or hurtful. Don't analyze yet, just record them.
Got it.
Then later, look for patterns. Are you always apologizing for things that aren't really your fault? Do you catch yourself walking on eggshells, making excuses for them, feeling drained after you see them?
Or constantly questioning your own memory, like, did that really happen?
Exactly, that's a big one, questioning your own perception.
And as you look at those patterns, maybe ask yourself this question. What would I tell a friend if they described this relationship to me?
Oh, that's powerful, yeah. It gives you distance.
It gets you out of that emotional fog, right? Because the narcissist next door, they rarely look like a monster. They look like love, like kindness, like everything you wanted. And that's what makes it so dangerous.
Now, for some people listening, this beautiful prison, it wasn't something you walked into as an adult. It was your first home.
Right. Growing up with a narcissistic parent.
Yeah. If your main caregiver was a narcissist, you didn't just learn to live in the prison. You actually learned to build the walls yourself, brick by painful brick.
Wow.
Take Priya's story. She's 8, wins this big art competition. Her mother's response, don't let it go to your head. No celebration.
None. Then, a week later, a B+ in math. Palpable disappointment. Guilt tripping. Do you see how disappointed I am? So Priya learned, really young, to constantly monitor her mother's moods, like a meteorologist tracking a storm.
That sounds exhausting. And it can show up in different ways, right? Like the God complex mother.
Yes, the one who sees the child purely as an extension of herself. Like Mira's mother pushing her relentlessly into medicine. Mira's life was basically her mom's project. Mira wanting a gap year was seen as a personal betrayal.
Or the opposite, maybe, the emotionally unavailable father.
Right. Control through withdrawal, like Marcus's dad. Highly successful, but just absent emotionally. Criticizing achievements or, worse, making them about himself. Like the story where Marcus made varsity football.
Yeah, and his dad's first reaction was to talk about how he could have played college ball, if not for an injury. No celebration for Marcus.
So in these families, love becomes this sort of conditional currency.
Exactly. Your worth is tied directly to how useful you are to the parent. It creates this deep, fundamental confusion about what love actually is and this constant need to prove you're worthy.
And kids adapt, don't they? They take on roles to survive.
They do. You might recognize yourself in one of these. Maybe the golden child, like Kavya, praised for achievements but held to impossible standards. Or the scapegoat, like Raj, blamed for everything.
Lost child.
Yeah, like Sarah, learning to be invisible to avoid conflict. Or even the mascot, the family entertainer, always trying to keep things light.
The painful truth underneath all this, A narcissistic parent just doesn't see their child as a separate person. Not really.
No, they see an extension, an accessory,
Yeah.
project.
And it's this invisible abuse, right? Hitting from the outside world, but leaving these deep, long-term scars. Identity confusion, perfectionism, trouble with boundaries.
Relationship problems later in life, major self-worth issues, that constant hypervigilance.
It carries into adulthood.
Definitely. So for those who grew up in this, a really crucial healing step is reparenting yourself.
What does that actually mean?
It means actively, consciously becoming the parent you needed but didn't have. Validating your own feelings. Celebrating your wins, big or small. Comforting yourself when you're hurting. Setting healthy boundaries. Practicing real self-compassion.
And maybe asking that inner child part of you.
Yes. Ask your inner child. What would you tell them about their worth? About deserving love, just for being them?
That's powerful. Let's maybe shift gears a bit and talk about the nurture side of this. Where does narcissism actually come from? Understanding, not excusing, right?
Exactly. Crucial distinction. Understanding, not excusing. Because narcissists are largely created, not born that way. It often stems from deep childhood wounds.
Dr. Ramani Durvasula talks about this paradox, doesn't she?
She does. Narcissism often develops from one of two extremes, either extreme neglect or extreme overindulgence. Both extremes mess with developing a healthy, solid sense of self.
Can you give examples?
Sure. Think about Arjun from the book. He was the overindulged child. His mother catered to every whim, protected him from any frustration, always blamed others if he failed, didn't make the cricket team, cheated on a test. It was never his fault.
So he never learned to handle criticism.
Never.
Yeah.
Because he basically never experienced consequences.
Yeah.
Now contrast that with Marcus, the neglected child. His parents were emotionally absent, so he learned to get attention by being exceptional, by achieving. She essentially became addicted to admiration just to feel seen.
So we see these different pathways emerging. The golden child praised for doing, not being. The scapegoat building up grandiose defenses. The neglected child learning manipulation. The traumatized child maybe disconnecting.
Yeah, different routes leading to similar patterns of needing external validation and struggling with empathy. And beyond just the family, society plays a role too, right?
For sure. Cultures that really push achievement, image, hyper-individualism, they can kind of feed into this focus on external validation.
And the neuroscience is fascinating too, though it's still developing. Research points to differences in brain structure, like reduced gray matter, in areas linked to empathy.
Which helps explain why they genuinely struggle to feel what others feel.
Exactly. It's not just a choice, necessarily. There might be differences in the prefrontal cortex related to emotional regulation, altered dopamine pathways making admiration feel like a drug.
Underdeveloped mirror neurons.
Right, which are key for understanding and reflecting others' emotions.
So bringing this together, it leads to this really profound understanding. Narcissists aren't usually like evil villains plotting destruction.
No, not typically. They're often deeply wounded people who just never learned healthy ways to get their needs met. Doesn't excuse the behavior, not for a second.
Absolutely not.
But it explains it. And understanding that explanation is so critical for your healing, for the person who's been hurt. Because beneath all the bravado, there's often this profound emptiness. And that emptiness can sadly lead them to become the punisher.
So why does understanding this background matter so much for the person healing?
Well, first, it helps you stop taking their behavior so personally.
Yeah.
It's not really about you.
Right, it's about their wounds.
Exactly. Second, it helps explain why they likely can't truly change, no matter how much you love them or try to help them. Which helps you set realistic expectations.
Releases you from trying to fix them.
Yes. And most importantly, it frees up your energy to focus on your own healing, which is where your power lies.
So a healing tool here could be something like a compassion practice.
Yeah, but it's compassion with boundaries. It's not about condoning the abuse. It's about understanding their pain so you can detach from it emotionally.
How would that sound? Like an affirmation?
Sort of. You could practice saying to yourself, their behavior is about their wounds, not my worth. Or, I can understand their pain without accepting their abuse. And critically, I can have compassion for their suffering without sacrificing my own well-being.
That's a key balance.
It is.
Yeah.
So maybe ask yourself, how can I hold both compassion for their pain and unwavering protection for myself? It's a nuanced stance, but really freeing.
Okay, let's talk about the dance. The dynamic itself. It's not random chaos, is it? There's a pattern.
Oh, definitely. It's like a choreographed cycle of control.
Yeah.
It's what leads to trauma bonding. Once you see the steps, you can't unsee them.
So movement one, the overture. The love bombing
Yeah.
phase.
And it's often spectacular, almost theatrical, like Sunita felt with Ravi, like living in a Bollywood movie. Gifts, poetry, undying love.
Hmm.
He seemed to understand her deepest vulnerabilities, like her fear of abandonment.
But from his side.
He wasn't conducting romance, he was conducting research, mapping her emotional landscape to know exactly which buttons to push later.
Wow. And there's a brain science reason this works so well, right? Dr. Helen Fisher's work?
Exactly. Love bombing triggers the brain's reward system, but it's done through intermittent reinforcement, giving rewards unpredictably. That's the most addictive kind.
Like gambling.
Precisely.
Hmm.
It creates the same neurochemical addiction patterns as drugs. You start craving their attention, their validation, even when it's inconsistent.
Okay, so after the overture, movement 2, the crescendo, devaluation.
Yeah, the music changes. Suddenly those little criticisms creep in, emotional withdrawals start. Ravi started commenting on Sunita's appearance, calling her needy, comparing her negatively to other women.
So Sunita finds herself constantly trying to prove she's good enough again.
Constantly, exhaustingly, trying to get back to that initial good version of him, which remember was the performance.
And this is often where gaslighting really ramps up.
Oh, absolutely. That's psychological manipulation designed to make you doubt yourself completely. Your memory, your sanity.
Jennifer's story with David. She felt like she was losing her mind. Started recording conversations.
Just to prove to herself she wasn't imagining things, only to delete them later out of guilt or self-doubt. It's insidious.
And you hear those classic phrases, that never happened, you're being too sensitive, you're crazy. It just erodes your reality.
Completely. Then comes movement 3. The silence. Discard.
This sounds brutal.
It often is. The most devastating phase for many. The narcissist just turns cold, distant, or completely absent. Mira's husband Arjun used the silent treatment. She said it was worse than yelling, "I felt like I was disappearing."
What's the purpose of that?
It's punishment. It's designed to create desperation in you. It's a stark, cruel reminder that their love is totally conditional. And this is where that intense trauma bond really cements itself.
Like Stockholm Syndrome.
Disturbingly similar, yes. This intense emotional attachment to the person causing the pain.
And just when you might be starting to pull away, maybe feel a flicker of yourself returning.
Bam. Movement 4, the encore. Hoovering.
Hoovering, like the vacuum cleaner.
Exactly like that. They try to suck you back in. Kavya experienced this with Raj. Suddenly, he's showing up with flowers, tearful apologies, promises to change, blaming his childhood trauma.
Making excuses.
Right. But the painful truth is, the cycle just starts all over again. It's a predictable, destructive loop.
And the critical truth here, the real kicker. This whole cycle, the incredible highs and the crushing lows, it's designed to create addiction.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
That pattern creates a powerful neurochemical response. Your brain literally gets addicted to the relationship, craving the relief and euphoria of the reconciliation, even while the abuse is destroying you.
The chains are invisible, aren't they? Psychological, emotional, spiritual, no bruises to show anyone.
Which is why victims hear dismissive things like, "But he seems so charming," or "You're lucky, at least he doesn't hit you."
And the isolation tactics reinforce it all.
Definitely. Dividing you from your support system, monopolizing your time, assassinating your character to others, maybe even geographic isolation or financial control, it tightens the grip.
Which brings us back to that question, why do smart, capable people stay?
It's so complex. The trauma bond is huge. The isolation, being constantly told you're the problem, that sliver of hope the good person will return. Fear of being alone, and often very real financial entrapment.
So to start breaking free, the first step is recognizing the dance steps themselves.
Absolutely. And a practical tool is the pattern recognition sheet.
How does that work?
Just document specific moments. When did the love bombing happen? What did the devaluation look like? When were the discards? How did they try to hoover you back? Focus on what triggered things and how you felt and responded.
And then reflect on it.
Yeah, ask yourself, which part of this cycle feels most familiar, most painful? And then the big question, what would it actually feel like to just step out of this dance entirely, to refuse to play anymore?
That's a powerful shift in perspective. Okay, so now, the path to freedom. This is where it gets really tough, but also hopeful. One fear survivors often face is, what if I become like them?
Oh, that's a huge fear. We call these the fleas of narcissism. Dr. Romani talks about reactive narcissism. It's crucial to understand this is usually a survival adaptation, not you suddenly developing a personality disorder.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Priya, after leaving her narcissistic mother, found herself unconsciously manipulating a new, kind partner.
Yeah,
using tactics she'd learned just to keep him slightly off balance because that felt normal or safe in a twisted way.
that makes sense. What are some other common fleas?
Things like hypervigilance, always scanning for danger, emotional withdrawal, maybe using guilt yourself, perfectionism, extreme people-pleasing, even sudden bursts of rage you don't understand.
Like Marcus's story.
Yeah, growing up with a narcissistic dad, he developed this explosive anger when criticized, even by people who loved him. His nervous system was just wired for threat. Or Sarah, the martyr empath, always rescuing, then exploding when her sacrifices weren't appreciated, maybe even using empathy as a weapon to induce guilt.
But here's the critical difference, right? This is so important.
It's vital. Narcissists fundamentally lack empathy, self-reflection, and the genuine ability to change. Survivors, even with fleas, retain those capacities. You can reflect, you can feel empathy, you can change.
So that moment of recognizing, oh, wow, I've picked up some unhealthy behaviors, that's actually a sign of health.
Absolutely. It's a sign of the self-awareness and empathy the narcissist lacks. The very fact that you're concerned about your behavior means you're capable of changing it. That's huge.
So a tool here could be a behavior audit.
Yes, taking a really honest but compassionate look yourself. Asking tough questions. Do I use guilt? Do I manufacture drama to test loyalty? But frame these not as moral failures, but as, okay, this was a strategy to try and get my needs met in an unhealthy environment. What's a healthier way now?
Like Kavya learning direct communication instead of silent treatment.
Exactly. Learning new, healthier tools for your relationship toolbox.
Escaping the trap often starts with that single moment of clarity, doesn't it?
Often, yeah. Like a switch flips. An instant realization that just cuts through years of fog. Like Anita seeing herself reflected in her daughter, apologizing for crying, and suddenly the whole pattern clicks.
And leaving. It's such a paradox. It's both the easiest and the hardest thing.
Absolutely. Easy, because intellectually, once you see it, the choice is clear. Hard, because every part of you, every habit, every neural pathway has been programmed to stay.
Those invisible chains. The doubt, the shame, the false hope, the trauma bond.
They pull so strongly. Marcus talked about the trauma bond withdrawal after he left, said, I felt like I was dying. That intense physical and emotional agony is real, and it's why people often go back.
It's not a single event leaving, it's a process, right? Stages.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Awareness comes first, then preparation, getting things in order, then action, the actual leaving, then maintenance, staying out, dealing with hoovering, and finally, integration, building your new life.
And the guilt. Oh, the guilt can be crushing, especially when it's weaponized by family.
It's brutal. Like Priya's mother calling, I gave you everything, and this is how you repay me. It's designed to hook you right back in through obligation and shame.
But here's the absolute truth about that guilt, isn't it?
Yes. Listen closely if you feel this. The guilt you feel when leaving a narcissistic relationship is not evidence you're doing something wrong. It's evidence of how thoroughly you were programmed to put their needs, their feelings, above your own well-being. It's a sign of the conditioning, not a sign you should stay.
What about no contact? Is that always possible?
It's often the most effective way to heal, stops the cycle, prevents hoovering, helps your nervous system regulate. But it's challenging if you share kids or finances.
So the gray rock technique.
Yes. Become boring,
Yeah.
uninteresting, like Jennifer did with her ex, communicating only about the kids via text, brief, factual, no emotion, give them nothing to latch onto.
Then people need to be prepared for the healing crisis, right? Feeling worse before feeling better.
Definitely. Leaving can unleash a storm. Intense grief, rage, panic attacks, confusion. Your system is recalibrating. It's normal, though incredibly difficult. Support is key.
Absolutely. Therapy, support groups, trusted friends, maybe legal or financial help.
And build that exit strategy.
Yeah.
Document everything. Save money if you can. Make safety plans. Prepare for hoovering. Be ready.
A healing tool to focus on the future.
The freedom visualization. Spend 5 minutes every day vividly imagining your life free from the abuse. What does it look like, feel like, sound like? This actively helps rewire your brain for that new reality. It builds hope.
Okay, so once someone is out or starting to get out, there's the deeper work. Healing the inner child who was never really seen.
Yes. This is profound work. Inside every survivor, there's usually a younger part that carries the wounds of not being seen, accepted, or validated. Like Rhea, who learned to be invisible to avoid her father's rage, and then felt anxious taking up any space as an adult.
That inner child can wear different faces, can it?
So many. The invisible child, The performing child always seeking approval, the caretaking child, the hypervigilant child, the angry child, the frozen child.
And Dr. Bessel van der Kolk talks about how this is developmental trauma. It affects brain development.
Yes, narcissistic abuse in childhood impacts attachment, emotional regulation, self-concept, trust, boundaries, and crucially, he emphasizes, the trauma gets stored in the body. It's not just a mental thing.
Which leads back to reparenting, becoming that nurturing parent yourself.
Exactly, like Arjun consciously changing his internal critical voice from, "you're so stupid," to something compassionate like, "mistakes happen. It's okay to be human."
And there are pillars to this reparenting.
5 key ones. Unconditional love and acceptance for yourself.
So-
Safety and protection, creating internal and external safety. Validation and understanding for your own feelings. Guidance and wisdom, accessing your inner knowing. And unwavering encouragement and support, being your own cheerleader.
And that critical voice we all have.
That critical voice in your head. It isn't actually your voice. It's the internalized voice of the people who couldn't see your worth. Reparenting is about finding and strengthening your own authentic, compassionate voice.
And because trauma is stored in the body, somatic healing is key.
Absolutely vital. Practices that help you connect with your body and release stored tension. Like Mira learning deep breathing, mindful movement, mindfulness, finally feeling safe in her own skin. That's incredibly liberating.
You're literally creating new neural pathways, rewiring your brain through self-love, self-care.
Yes, neuroplasticity is real.
Yeah.
But be prepared for grief here too. The grief of realizing what you missed, what you deserved or didn't get. Kavya crying for the little girl who never felt truly loved. That's part of the healing.
A daily practice for this, the inner child dialogue.
Wonderful tool. Just 10 minutes to check in. Hey, little one, how are you feeling today? What do you need from me right now? Listen gently and create safety through rituals. Affirmations, maybe a comforting object, playful activities, boundary rituals.
So, moving towards life beyond the prison. Reclaiming reality. Reclaiming sovereignty. What does that look like?
Sometimes it's quiet moments. Realizing you haven't checked your phone for criticism all day. Waking up without that knot of dread. Like Anita, moving from hypervigilance to just curiosity about her own life.
It's about that internal declaration, isn't it?
It really is that powerful statement. I am the author of my own story. I am the keeper of my own truth. I guard my own peace. I define my own worth. I trust my perceptions. I am sovereign in my own life.
It's a metamorphosis, not going back to who you were, but becoming someone new.
Entirely new, more resilient, more authentic, built on new pillars, authentic self-expression, emotional sovereignty, owning your feelings, intuitive wisdom, trusting your gut again, boundary mastery, relational discernment, choosing connections wisely, present moment peace, and purpose-driven living.
A life visioning exercise could help here.
Definitely. Imagine life 5 years from now. Totally free, deeply healed. What are your mornings like? Relationships, work, joy, inner life, physical space. Create that blueprint for freedom. It pulls you forward.
And realizing your healing impacts others too.
Huge ripple effects. Like Marcus becoming a workplace wellness consultant, helping others spot toxic dynamics. Your healing contributes to collective healing.
And redefining love. That must be profound.
It's a total revolution, learning to spot the difference between counterfeit and authentic. Real love makes you feel more like yourself, not less. It embraces flaws, supports growth, provides safety. Priya called it her love revolution. Real love feels like coming home to yourself, not losing yourself.
There's that beautiful paradox too, becoming stronger and softer.
Yes, stronger in boundaries, fiercely protective of your peace, but softer in compassion, vulnerability, connection with safe people.
And here's that empowering truth again. Your healing isn't just personal, it's political.
Absolutely. Every person breaking free challenges the narratives that profit from our self-doubt. It's a blow against those systems.
And discovering those unexpected gifts.
The gifts you didn't ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Unshakable self-trust. That almost supernatural intuition. Deep empathy. Fierce boundaries. Real humility. Contagious courage.
You learn to live beyond narcissism. You might still encounter it.
But it doesn't hook you.
Yeah.
You see it, you name it, you set a boundary, you move on. Clarity, not panic or reactivity.
And you stand in that freedom declaring, I am free from needing to be perfect. I am free to be magnificently, messily, beautifully human. I am free to write my own story.
Yeah. And now, maybe a word for the person listening who's still stuck, still in the shadows, maybe reading this, hoping no one sees how much it hits home.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. I really do. And please, please hear this. You are not crazy. I know they've made you doubt everything, But that quiet voice inside, that little whisper saying, this isn't right. That's your truth. Your intuition isn't broken. It's buried maybe, but not broken.
I get the thoughts swirling around. My situation's different. They're not really that bad. Maybe if just try harder. What about the good times? What will people think?
Oh yeah, we've all been there. Those thoughts are part of the trap.
But here are some truths I wish someone had hammered into me sooner. It is not your fault. Their behavior, their choices, their inability to truly love, not your fault.
And you are not responsible for their healing. You can't love them into changing. You just can't.
Your feelings, the hurt, the anger, the confusion, the fear, they are all completely valid. They make sense given what you're experiencing.
You have options. You have more power than you probably realize right now. And you are so much stronger than you know. Just surviving this takes incredible strength.
And the hardest truth, the one that's so painful to accept,
They are not going to change. Not because of your love, your patience, your forgiveness. The charming version, that was the mask, the performance, the hurting, controlling version. That's the reality of who they are right now.
This isn't about giving up on them. It's about choosing yourself.
Choosing yourself. What does freedom look like? Imagine it. Mornings without that dread. Conversations without tiptoeing. Relationships where people celebrate you. Space to remember who you are. Love that feels safe. Peace in your own body.
Leaving is hard. We know that. But staying in that beautiful prison, ultimately, that's harder. It chips away at your soul. You deserve more than just surviving. You deserve to thrive.
And if leaving feels totally overwhelming right now, that's okay. Start smaller. Tiny acts of rebellion.
Like what?
Journaling, just for yourself, hidden away. Reaching out to one trusted friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Doing one small thing, just for you, every day. Starting to trust your gut feelings again. Setting one tiny boundary, even if it feels insignificant.
You're not alone in this. There's a huge community, a sisterhood and brotherhood of survivors out here who get it. We're holding space for you.
And when you're ready, truly, only when you are ready, we'll be here. You won't just survive this, you will transform. You will love again safely, authentically. And you'll likely find yourself helping others find their way out too.
And that final, crucial truth they tried so hard to bury. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not too anything. You are perfectly, beautifully, completely enough exactly as you are right now.
Yes. So until you're ready for the big leap, keep documenting. Build your resources, financial, emotional. Take exquisite care of your health. Practice relentless self-compassion. Keep learning. Knowledge is power here.
And remember, the day you do leave, you're not abandoning them. You are choosing yourself. You're not giving up on love. You're refusing a counterfeit. You're not running away. You are running toward your authentic life.
A prison might have golden bars, silk curtains, but it's still a prison. And you hold the key. You always have. When you're ready to use it, we'll be here to welcome you home. Home to yourself, home to your truth, home to the life you are always meant to live.
You are so much stronger than you know.
So much more valuable than they made you believe.
And so much more love than you can possibly imagine right now.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive today took us on quite a journey, didn't it?
It really did. From seeing the painful reality of the beautiful prison, understanding where narcissism often comes from understanding, not excusing.
Right. And then moving into that deep healing work.
Yeah.
The inner child, shedding those adaptive fleas.
And finally, reclaiming your sovereignty, your reality, and learning what authentic love actually feels like.
And the key takeaway really is that your choices, your courage, your commitment to yourself, those are the keys. You have the power.
Because the most profound freedom, it isn't escaping a physical cage. It's dismantling those invisible walls inside yourself, the ones that made you believe you were less than you are.
Exactly. It's rediscovering that your inherent worth was never, ever diminished. It was just temporarily obscured. Your healing isn't just self-preservation.
It's a radical act of self-reclamation.